So what I'm doing here, what you just saw, is I had a worn out belt that I took all the scale off with, and then I jumped to a fresh belt. Now I'm grinding the bevels in.
Alright, I've decided to go with the quick test etch. One side, they're pretty much 60 grit on each side. Y'all just saw me grind the bevels, so I'm gonna throw that mug in there and just kind of see what it's looking like. There you go. Look at that. That's pretty cool. That's neat. Alright, well, I'll get back to grinding.
At this point, I'm just taking it up the grits on the belt grinder. I go up to 220, and then I start my hand sanding.
Alright, so what I've done now is I taped off the spine and most of the upper part of the blade. I put some Sharpie along the edge. I'm going to put a slight convex on it with the top of the belt grinder. Let's get to it. Alright, as y'all can see, got the convex grind done. So now I'm just gonna take it up to about 220 and then Scotch Brite it and then hand sand.
So I didn't want to bore y'all with watching hand sanding for a couple minutes. This took me roughly 4 to 5 hours, and I'm just going to show y'all a short clip of it.
Alright, so I didn't want to bore y'all with hand sanding, but I've got it taken up to 800 grit pretty much everywhere except for the choil, because I want the spine and everything else to have the pattern. So we're gonna throw it in the acid now. Got a little wire there. Booyah. And the acid, so I'll let it sit for about 8-10 minutes, pull it out, sand it, and then repeat that probably 3 times. Alright, so just finished the 4th cycle. I did 3 cycles of 8 minutes, and then this last one, the 4th one, I did 10 minutes. That sucker looks good. Yeah, so I'll go wash it off, and then I'll show y'all what it looks like. There's the spine. Pretty neat. So now what y'all just saw me do is I tapered the tang on the grinder and just cleaned it all up. I've got my guard flat on both sides. So now what I will do is I'll take calipers and I will measure the thickest part of this tang. Right there. We're setting it right at 3/16. Maybe a little bit under. So what I'm gonna do is probably won't use a 3/16 just because I've just got, it's not a real great drill press. I don't have a mill, so I can't be super precise. So I'll just go with 1/8, and then if I've got a bit that's a little bit bigger, I'll do that, and then I'll just file the rest. I've got time today. It's not a big deal. So we'll jump into it. All right, so I ended up finding a 11/64 drill bit, a little bit smaller than a 3/16. So I will use that. Next thing I'm going to do is figure out where I want the front of my guard, or which side I want the front on. I'm going to lay down my guard, or lay down my blade where I want it. Take a Sharpie. And mark exactly where the choil will line up. Then after I do that, move it over just a little bit. So I can mark exactly where my tang's at. Once I get that, I take this square and I can draw a line right where the tang goes. Right like that. After I do that, I will take the measurement, see how wide the guard is. 3/4 of an inch. What's that? 7. So I'll go right to, I think 3/3. Yep, that was good enough. This doesn't have to be right on money. You can see it right there. After I do that, I will take the biggest drill bit I'm going to use, take my Sharpie again. I'll just line it up. Right like that, and I just eyeball this. Set it up there, pretty close. Right there. That last one, I'll file the last bit in. After I get that, I will take this was a little scribe, but I use it as a center punch now. Find the middle. Lightly tap it, just so I can go over to the anvil and get a good one with the real center punch. That's good enough. All right, right there. Then I'll take it over and center punch it. Now that I've got some strong center punch marks, take it to the drill press. I've got that 1/8 in here. The next step, I'm going to take this file and sit here and file for about eternity till I get these knots connected. All right, so I got the guard fitted really well, and what I did is obviously I filed it out, and then I clamped this in the vise. I took this hardened steel plate Well, I took that, I put that over the tang. Like that. And then I took this tube and I hammered the guard on once I got it a little close to an 1/8 inch away. That's the end result. So the next thing I'm gonna do is start lining up my antler handle. All right, so what I did is I drilled out most of it, I think, very roughly, didn't measure anything. I just started drilling. Now I'm gonna take a broach. I'm gonna start broaching it out and fitting it over and over and over. All right, so as y'all saw, I got my guard fitted, got the red stag handle. You could say, I guess, broached out. Sits up there good. I need to bed it in epoxy, and then I need to somehow attach my pommel.